So can factories actually run totally on their own without a single human involved? Well, it's pretty much the ultimate question of intelligent industry. And honestly, it's exactly what we're going to unpack in today's explainer.
Just picture this for a second. It's 3 a.m. There's total darkness on the production floor. You look around, and there are absolutely no workers walking between the lines. Out of nowhere, customer orders arrive automatically. An artificial intelligence decides exactly what products to make, robotic arms swing into action to load the machines, computer vision systems flawlessly inspect every single component, and production just continues. It's an eerie but incredibly vivid picture of the theoretical lights out or dark factory.
Welcome to our explainer on autonomous manufacturing, myth versus reality. I'm really thrilled to guide you through what is essentially the final frontier of intelligent industry. We're going to separate the sci-fi dream of that dark factory from the gritty physical reality of how these systems actually work on the ground.
Here's our roadmap for today. First up, the lights-out vision. Second, automation versus autonomy. Then we'll dive into the rise of the factory agents, tackle the long tail of exceptions, and finally, wrap up with why humans still matter.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, the lights-out vision. To really get a grip on what true autonomy in a factory setting actually means, we have to recognize that autonomous manufacturing isn't just some machine blindly repeating a single task. It's an entire production system capable of sensing conditions, making selected decisions, acting physically, and crucially, adapting with limited direct human intervention. The big takeaway here is that a true autonomous factory manages the messy relationships between complex tasks, from forecasting demand to inspecting quality. It doesn't just sit there executing pre-programmed instructions.
Which brings us to section 2, automation versus autonomy.
This is the crucial distinction that really serves as a paradigm shift for this entire concept. Think about traditional automation. It relies on fixed, rigid rules. It answers the question, how should this task be performed? Like, if a sensor activates, move the conveyor belt. Simple, right? But autonomy? Autonomy is fluid. It answers the question, what should happen next? If a machine suddenly fails, should production route to another machine? Should the entire line slow down? Should it just pause and wait for maintenance? Autonomy involves actively choosing among possible responses in real time.
So how on earth does the system actually make those choices? Well, it relies on an autonomous closed loop: sense, analyze, decide, act, verify, and learn. Because digital intelligence literally cannot escape the boundaries of, say, a robot's maximum payload or how long a furnace takes to heat up, these systems are constantly observing physical limits. They evaluate their options, execute a response, and then, this is key, they verify the outcome and learn from it on the fly.
Moving right along to section 3, rise of the factory agents. To see how this closed loop builds into a living, breathing ecosystem, we really have to look at the AI systems running the show. Autonomous manufacturing actually emerges from AI agents acting a lot like specialized human workers. But here's the catch. They have directly conflicting goals. The production agent wants high output. Maintenance just wants to protect the equipment. Quality is demanding strict acceptance. And energy is constantly pushing for lower consumption. Obviously, they can't all win simultaneously, so they have to negotiate.
So how do they resolve those conflicts without human intervention? They use what's called an objective function. Basically, mathematically weighted organizational values. Say, delivery gets 30%, cost is 25%, quality is 20%, energy 15%, and inventory 10%. These numbers influence literally every complex trade-off the AI makes. If the production agent wants to run a machine faster to hit a delivery target, it has to mathematically weigh that against the increased energy cost and the risk of breaking the machine. And for sure, leadership has to explicitly understand and approve these exact weights.
Now for the really tricky part. Section 4, the long tail of exceptions.
Because what happens when things don't go according to plan? Let's pivot to the pragmatic reality here. The true test of autonomy is exception handling. Running normally? That's easy. Most automation works brilliantly during expected operations. But what happens when a robotic gripper drops a component, or a sensor spits out contradictory information, or a supplier delivers raw material with just slightly different surface properties? True autonomy is really tested in that rare 10% of unusual situations.
And the risks are absolutely massive when digital systems clash with unyielding physical reality. Just ask yourself, what if an AI hallucination actually causes physical harm because a generative model recommended the wrong machine command? Or what if a cyber attack corrupts the digital twin, the virtual replica of the factory, making an overheating, dangerous machine look completely normal on the dashboard? Or imagine compound events, a supplier delay, plus a machine failure, plus a cyber incident hitting all at exactly the same time. One bad forecast can cascade into a massive algorithmic failure across the entire network at literal machine speed. And that brings us perfectly to our final section, Section 5. Why humans still matter.
The real solution to these massive risks is something called bounded autonomy. Look, human oversight isn't just a nice-to-have backup plan, it is a fundamental, absolute requirement for industrial safety. Bounded autonomy means giving the system freedom only inside a defined, human-approved operating area. Can an AI optimize its path? Absolutely. But it can never, ever redefine its own safety envelope, rewrite its core purpose, or ignore a hard constraint, like a legal emissions limit or a maximum machine pressure. It operates inside a box that we build.
So, the absolutely crucial point you should take away from all this is exactly what domains still require human judgment. Humans must continue to own the purpose and ethical priorities. We have to own the safety limits and emergency shutdowns. We hold the product liability, we are the ones who dictate workforce policy, and we must maintain absolute authority over irreversible physical actions. Put simply, the system can optimize the path, but people must define the destination.
Because there is a hard, dividing line we must never cross. Automation is allowing machines to perform work more effectively. But abdication? That's giving up responsibility simply because the system appears intelligent. If we let the system handle every single decision, human expertise is going to plummet. And when the system inevitably encounters a weird black swan event, nobody will have a clue how to respond effectively. True intelligent industry relentlessly pursues automation, but it fiercely rejects abdication. I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. If a fully machine-run factory is optimized merely for profit and constant growth, completely without human ethics in the loop, who decides whether that factory's goals actually remain aligned with society? Because a factory capable of running itself should never, ever be allowed to define its own purpose. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning the systems around you, and I'll catch you next time.